morning to all the participants. Today we are going to play a game, and if you can play this game correctly, you will have mastered much of fractions. Let me explain the game. There are 4 slates here on the table. This is known as the top slate, and this is the bottom slate. This is the slates on the left hand side, and these are the slates on the right hand side. And there is an equality sign here, which means that this is an equation. The left hand side must be equal to the right hand side. I will set up a problem on the left hand side, and you have to answer the problem by placing something on the right hand side. So let us begin with the first problem. I place 2 holes here, and I write 2 here. And the problem is that you have to make so many equal parts of what is there on the top slate. So you have to make 2 equal parts. And the problem is, what is 1 part? So, Nandita, what should I place on the top slate?
1.
1 whole. So now we have an equality. Okay? Easy problem. Now I am changing the problem, and I put just 1 hole on the top slate. I have to make 2 equal parts, and I give a hole to Jyoti. Jyoti, please make what I have to place on the top slate. So you have made 2 equal parts. So what do I have to place here, Jyoti?
Half.
Place 1 of those. So now we have an equality. 1 whole divided by 2 equal parts. Then 1 part is this, and this is, we call a half. Alright, let's go on to the next problem. Now I place 3 holes in the top slate, and I have to make 2 equal parts. So what is 1 equal part, Nandita?
1.5.
So can you just reach out here and place on the top slate? Fine. So this is the answer to this problem. Okay, now let us change the problem a little bit. Again, I have 1 hole there, and now I have to make 4 equal parts. So what is 1 part? I give this to Jyoti. So what do I place here?
1/4.
One of these. So Jyoti has made pieces of 1/4 and I place one of those here. So now we have an equality. Now I'm going to change the problem a little bit. All this is something easy. This is something that we have done earlier. I'm going to change the problem now and I'm going to keep two holes here and I'm going to keep one hole here and I'm going to write 1 here, and the problem is the following, that if this is one part, I've written 1 here and this one part is this. So, therefore, how many parts are there in the top slate? If this is one part, then this is how many parts?
2.
2. So, please write down on your slate, the right hand side, both draw a line, keep one below, and what do we have to write on the top?
2.
Right. So this is, I have to write. So this is now an equality. If this is one part, then these are 2 parts. All this is very, very easy. Now let me make the problem one step a little bit more difficult. What I'm going to do now is that I'm going to say that what is here is not one part. What is here is not one part. What is here, this is one part. For this problem now, this is one part. So if this is one part, then how many parts is this?
2.
2. So I'm going to write 2 here. Now this is the problem. The bottom slate, what is in the bottom slate is now 2 parts. So if this is 2 parts, then how many parts is this on the top slate?
4.
4. Okay. So let me just show that by showing this as 2 parts. Okay, so I divide this here into 2 parts. So these also I have to write as 2 parts each. And in that case, if this is 2 parts, then what is up is 4 parts. So I have to write, please write in your slates. Four by 2. Are you ready for the next problem?
Yeah.
If now this is not 2 parts, but if actually this is 3 parts, Now this is 3 parts. So if this is 3 parts, how many parts do we have on the top slate?
6.
6. So write down. Okay. We would write 6. So let us write down what is this if these are the parts. What is in the top slate if we make one part in the down slate, in the top slate we have 2. If we consider this as 2, then this becomes
4.
4. If you consider this as 3, this becomes
6.
6. If I consider this as 10, then
20.
this becomes 20. But you can see that what is on the top slate is always double what is
On
in the bottom slate. So what we are doing is comparing the top slate with the bottom slate. So now all the numbers that you wrote, something upon something, that is called a ratio. Something upon something is called a ratio. So what was the first ratio that you wrote? Please write it down. Please write down the first ratio on one side. And then write down the second ratio. When this was 2 parts, what was the ratio that you got for this? What was up and what was down? Keep track of that. Gyanjyoti, look at what you've written and write correctly what is up and what is down. What is up? Right. Just show it to the camera. So it was 2 by 1 and that is also 4 by 2. Okay. While writing fractions, you have to be a little bit careful about what you write up and what you write down. Many times there is some confusion, but here we can see what is up and what is down. So what is up, we write up. What is down, we write down. So this was 2 upon 1. It was also 4 upon 2 if the bottom slate is 2. And if the bottom slate is 3, then what is up?
6.
So put that also. Show that to the camera. Right. So all these numbers that we have written, all these ratios that we have written are equal. And by playing this game, what we have now entered, what we have now begun to understand is the concept of a ratio. Today in this session we will play more with ratios, and when you understand ratios you will have understood the basis for much of mathematics ahead. You will have understood percentages, you will have understood profit, you will have understood interest, you will have understood some subjects which you are not going to study in class 6, 7 and 8. You will have understood trigonometry, you will have understood many problems about chemistry. So this idea of a ratio, which is very simple, is a very powerful idea, and that is what we are going to understand in the game that we play today. This approach is not a common approach. It is something that we have developed as a part of the pedagogy of universal active mathematics, and by playing with this game we will understand many concepts of fractions. For example, the concept of equivalent fractions. So now let us continue with this game, and I am now going to play this game with numbers. I am now going to take this away and I am going to write 2 here and 4 here. So if 2 is one part, how many parts are there in 4?
2.
2. So one part is 2. This is just our division, right? Now it is just a division problem. So we learn that ratios are not a new subject. Ratios are a part of division. So shall we just do a few division problems now, working only with numerals? You will find these very easy. But let's do it. Now I keep 1 here because I'm always going to ask you what is one part. So now I put 3 is one part and 6 is in the top slate. So if 3 is one part, how many parts are there here?
2.
Again 2. Now if 3 is one part and I have 9 in the top slate, so then how many parts are there in 9, Gyanjyoti?
3.
3. This is just a simple division problem. Supposing 3 is one part and I have 12 in the top slate. So how many parts do I have?
4.
4. Good. So we understand that you can make ratios with numbers, and even if you make ratios with numbers which are different, sometimes the ratios are the same. What we saw so far, I'm going to write on the slate myself and show you. We saw that 2 upon 1 is equal to 4 by 2, 6 by 3. This is what we saw in the first problem, and in the second problem we saw that 6 by 3, we saw that 9 by 3 is equal to 3 by 1. We saw that 12 by 3 is equal to 4 by 1. This was a division problem. These are also division problems. Division problems which have the same answer, which have equal answers, these are known as equal ratios. A division problem is a ratio, and division problems which have the same answer or equal answers are known as equal ratios. Okay? Are you ready now to do one division problem?
Yes.
I'm going to give it to you as a number, and you have to write the answer in your slates. This is the problem. Very good. So when you write the answer as something upon something, then you have made a ratio. If you write it as 3, the ratio is not very clear. But when you put it as 3 by 1, it means that one part is 3 and something upon something is called a ratio. So now we have understood what is a ratio, and in our next session we will do some more problems with this. But before we conclude this session, I am now going to pose a slightly different problem which you have to look at and answer. Are you ready?
Yes.
The first problem is what we have done earlier. I'm just going to repeat that. So what do you write? Write the answer. Please look carefully. Gyanjyoti, what is up? What is in the top slate? What have you written? Yeah. Okay. What is in the bottom slate?
1.
1. So I have to write here
2 upon 1.
2 upon 1. Now, the different problem which I am going to create from this, just think about it, is I am going to place this problem. I wrote this as 2 upon 1. I wrote this problem as 2 upon 1. How? What should I write
1
down?
upon 2.
So what should I write here?
2.
2. So we know now how to write when the quantity in the top slate may be less than the quantity in the bottom slate. So let's look at this again. If these are 2 parts, then this is 1 part. Okay. And if I write this as 2 upon 1, then I have to write this as
1
1
upon
upon 2. So now let me give you some problems which you have to write. I'm now going to change my 1 and I'm going to make my 1 as these little squares. Okay? So you have to tell me now What is this?
4 upon 2.
4 upon 2. Okay? So let's understand it as a problem in seeing how many parts there are here. So now if this is one part, then this is one part and this is another part. So the answer, if this is one part now, if I write 1 here, because now this is one part, even though there are 2 pieces, but this is one part, then what do I have to write here?
2.
2. If this is one part, so now what do I have to write here?
Value.
This is one part. So how many parts do I have down?
2.
2. So now this will become 2. And how many parts do I have
4.
up?
4.
1, 2, 3, and 4. So here I have to write 4. So when you are writing what is here, what I have placed here, you have to mentally keep in mind what is your one part. So if this is one part, then this is 2. If this is one part, then this is 1. So that's all that you have to keep in mind. What is there in one part? And therefore, on the other slate, how many parts are there? What is one part? How many parts? If this is one part, how many parts? That's all there is to ratios. That's all there is to fractions. That's all there is to division. So we have seen that division, ratios, and fractions, they are all part of the same subject, comparing quantities. And if we know how to compare quantities correctly, then we have mastered the subject of fractions. So let us take a break here, and in our next session we will do some more problems with ratios.